On Sunday, the Pittsburgh Steelers lost to the Cleveland Browns 13-6 in a game in which the Steelers really needed to win. If they won against Cleveland, they would have already clinched the AFC North for the first time in the past couple of years. I think for the first time since 2020, before the emergence of Joe Burrow and Lamar Jackson in the AFC North. And we're looking at the Steelers team and looking at the game against the Cleveland Browns. The Steelers had the perfect game plan to go out there and win this game. First half was, well, just let's shut them down defensively. And that's what the Steelers did. They gave up 10 points early on in the first quarter, but only allowed 3 points in the remaining three quarters. Alex Highsmith looked like one of the most premier pass rushers in the National Football League, forcing interception on Shador Sanders and generating a lot of pressure on him, getting a couple sacks, and having a complete game from the first quarter to the fourth quarter. Alex Highsmith did. The secondary was sticky. The defense was exceptional. And the other part of the game plan was let's look at this Cleveland Browns team and what they have around them. Myles Garrett, Mason Graham, their identity is built in the front seven and getting to the quarterback. And what do the Steelers do? What have they done all season? It's get the ball out quickly. Get the ball out of Aaron Rodgers' hands and let the playmakers make stuff happen. Rodgers has a league leading snap to pass rate, which he gets the ball out faster than any other starting quarterback in the National Football League. And it was the right game plan because every single time a team struggles offensively against the Browns is because their quarterback is staying in the pocket too long or trying to run a bootleg and Myles Garrett chases them down or Carson Schwetzinger chases them down and gets a sack or forces, a turnover because the quarterback's flustered and throws an interception to Denzel Ward or Tyson Campbell. And what the Steelers do all season is get the ball out quickly, which is a perfect recipe to neutralize this Cleveland Browns defensive line. Myles Garrett can't sack you or force a fumble if he can't touch you. So it was the right game plan. But what we're seeing with the Steelers team, what was shown in this game against the Cleveland Browns, is the Achilles heel of this team and has been all season and was known to be and predicted to be since this offseason as the one thing that will prevent them from winning the Super Bowl. And that's correct. If they address this one spot, they would go from a team that may not make the playoffs this year to winning the Super Bowl this season. And that is the wide receiver position. When looking at this game, yes, we can obviously say that if DK Metcalf was back and was not suspended, the Steelers would have won the game. There were multiple times where, let's say late in the game, when they were trying to score in the red zone and they couldn't get that touchdown, DK would have been a reliable target to throw the ball up to rather than Marquez Valdes-Scantling. Or that 4th-and-1 situation where it was one-on-one coverage against Tyson Campbell. Maybe that's DK. That jump ball actually gets caught and is converted by Aaron Rodgers and the Pittsburgh Steelers to keep the drive going and to potentially score a touchdown. That would then allow for them to only need a field goal later on in the game to tie it, send it to overtime, and then who knows what happens from there. But when looking at this game, DK Metcalf there or not, if he was there all season, which he has been, and entering the playoffs, they still wouldn't be a Super Bowl contender because they lack a wide receiver too. And because of it, because of Omar Khan's inability to go after and acquire a wide receiver, the Pittsburgh Steelers have completely blown their chance at winning in this 1 year window of a Super Bowl. And that's another problem is how are we going to build a team like this, pay out the money you have to the players you did, make the moves you did, and not go all the way in? It makes no sense to me. You build a roster and you pay TJ Watt a hefty 3 year extension, and you give Cameron Hayward a lot of money, and you go and you trade for a DK Metcalf and give him 150 over 5, and you sign a 40-plus-year quarterback in Aaron Rodgers with the mindset of, and you trade for an older Jalen Ramsey, who again is probably in his last year of his prime, and before he got cut, you sign an older corner in Darius Slay, who was proven to be good the previous couple of years, hoping this was his last year of his prime. Then you trade for Kyle Duggar, and you make all these moves with the mindset of, yeah, this is our 1 year to go out there and win a Super Bowl. But you hold on to your draft picks that you hope are last in the draft, and you don't make a move at the wide receiver position. As a matter of fact, you subtract from the wide receiver position by trading away George Pickens for a 3rd-round pick. And you don't even use that 3rd-round pick to flip into someone else. Jacoby Myers, who was acquired for only a 4th and a 6th-round selection and has been killing it in Jacksonville. Omar Khan's inability to make a move for a wide receiver is why Pittsburgh lost this game against Cleveland and why they may not make the playoffs. And if so, why they are potentially, in all likely, a 1st-round exit in the playoffs. If the Pittsburgh Steelers were to have acquired another wide receiver, it would open up this entire passing game. And we can talk about how well Aaron Rodgers has the lowest average depth of target at 6.5 among starting quarterbacks in the NFL. And that was showcased against this Cleveland game, where 20 of his passes were from 10 yards or closer to the line of scrimmage. 12 of them were within 1 yard of the line of scrimmage or behind the line of scrimmage. 12 of those pass attempts in the game against the Cleveland Browns. But there were also this big play attempts. Again, the 4th and 1 situation. Let's say DK suspended in this situation, which he was, but you had a Jacoby Myers or a Jalen Waddle. I'm willing to bet on that 4th and 1 go ball or jump ball, whatever you want to call it, while being guarded by Tyson Campbell, probably would have been completed. Or those couple incompletions to Marquez Valdes-Scantling down the sideline, one of them or two of them would have been caught. Or when you get to the red zone in the final drive of the game, and it's 1st and goal, 2nd and goal, 3rd and goal, 4th and goal, I'm willing to bet one of those passes would have been completed and caught for a touchdown. But now you look at this Pittsburgh Steelers team and they're reeling, and there's a chance they might not beat Baltimore. This is a game they should have won and sent them to the playoffs. But because of Omar Khan's inability to go and do the final thing, which is just get a freaking wide receiver that can complement DK Metcalf, the team is not going to win the Super Bowl anymore, nor compete for one, nor even have the chance to potentially get to the Super Bowl and get to the playoffs with a loss to Baltimore and with this loss to the Cleveland Browns. A receiver next to DK Metcalf would open this entire playbook up. And yes, Rodgers wants to get the ball out quickly. And that's going to happen, and that's going to work. But you're still going to have those ability to throw the ball deep downfield. The other thing is, let me ask you guys what you think about this. And let me know. If Aaron Rodgers, just let's say Jacoby Myers because he was traded at the deadline. If Aaron Rodgers had Jacoby Myers and DK Metcalf, or DK Metcalf and George Pickens on the roster, would you think that he would throw the ball further downfield more times than what he is now? Do you think he'd be willing to take another beat and throw the ball to George Pickens or to DK Metcalf, who will inherently have lighter coverages against them because it's not DK Metcalf and Scotty Miller, it's DK Metcalf and Jacoby Myers or George Pickens, two receivers who are proven 1,000-yard receivers? Yeah, I'm willing to bet he would be doing that a lot more often. Omar Khan lost the Steelers the game against the Cleveland Browns. He's going to cost them potentially the chance to win the AFC North. And he's the reason why the Pittsburgh Steelers will not win the Super Bowl this season. Let me know what you guys think. Is there more to it? Were there more problems with the Pittsburgh Steelers? Or are they truly one wide receiver away from being a legit contender in the AFC and for the Super Bowl? Please like, comment, and subscribe.